Can you hear it? Welcome to Relay.
I forgot to apologize. Damn it. Oh.
Well, now you can apologize to everyone in chat because you just swore at them.
I didn't swear.
Damn it is...
I would never.
Damn it is damn it a swear word?
It depends on your culture.
Maybe when I was 3 it was a swear word. Hasn't been a swear word in Canada since like 1990.
Yeah, I guess
Because you
it's
could
not.
you could theoretically be damming anything. You could be damming, a river,
It's true.
and then you're just a beaver.
beaver.
And beavers are Canadian, so you're just being patriotic at that point.
Okay. Well, damn it.
That's right.
Hello. Welcome to
Welcome,
our
Shiver.
podcast. Welcome to our podcast where we talk about damning things. First up, we are going
Chapter
to
0.
First up, we are going to damn everyone that thinks that a hot dog is not a sandwich. Damn them. Second, we're going to be damning marsupials because they squiffy me out with their hands and thumbs and things, you know?
Okay.
Why is anyone watching this?
No one is. Hello and welcome to the Unnamed Game Show, which is the game show's name, where we talk about video games. I've changed up our segments slightly. I've removed the pre-segment of what you drinking for two reasons.
So we don't get banned on Twitch.
For one, so that we don't get banned on Twitch, because it's apparently against Twitch guidelines to tell someone that you're drinking alcohol because Twitch.
Well, I think it's
Twitch.
because
I promise this is
Twitch-
Coca-Cola.
because Twitch is for minors. I think it's 12 or up. You have to be to watch Twitch, really. Even if you have the mature warning on there, it's very much still the same rule applies. I think so. You
Okay.
should be showing minors that you're drinking. I think.
Okay, but then why are you allowed to advertise alcohol on television?
Money.
I think. Well, that varies from country to country, though, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
It does, but I mean, Twitch is an American company and has decided that it can insert its American laws onto anyone, whether they are in America or not. And I believe in America, alcohol's on TV pretty often. I don't know. Whatever.
I don't know.
Twitch. The
Don't
point
forget,
of it is.
you can't show that you're drinking alcohol, but you can play the most violent games, the
Oh,
most
yeah.
vivid and graphic detail, but do not show any winkies.
Yeah.
Wait,
But you can go and get drunk in Cyberpunk though, on stream.
Yeah, that's probably fine.
But you're not allowed to tell the people watching that you're drinking alcohol. The second reason is that I haven't had any alcohol in like 3 weeks, so
Didn't you drink on the Saturday show?
I did. That was the one break that I've had in 3 weeks. It was
okay.
bad.
Okay.
No, wait, no, he didn't drink alcohol. He drank
Yeah, that's true. I drank
very out of date Coca-Cola.
Very
Fizzy
out of
water.
date Coca-Cola.
Yeah.
Very, very out of date. Yeah.
All right, so we're just going to go into our first chapter, chapter 0. What you playing?
I'll start if you want.
Do it.
So I've been playing. Well, Cyberpunk, obviously. Cyberpunk is on PC is a pretty excellent game. I'm like level 25, 26, I think. And I've been having a great time with Cyberpunk. You know, I know it's a little rough, but for the most part, I have been really enjoying it. So that's all that really matters. Secondly, I've been playing Among Us with Shiver and friends. And it's been a lot of fun. Shiver managed to totally hoodwink me to the nth degree, which was very entertaining. I also got to kill a bunch of people, so that was also good too. That game's a lot of fun with friends. I don't think it'd be much fun. Is there even a single player mode? I'm assuming no. Yeah, okay. I don't think it'd be fun without people. Also, entertainingly, been playing Phasmophobia with Shiver and friends. A bunch of people actually, including our very own Canadian Syrup. And Phasmophobia is an interesting one because I'm not normally a horror gamer at all, but the sort of cooperative social nature of it made it not as scary and also more fun. So that was pretty awesome. One I've been having a really good time with is Medieval Dynasty. It just sort of hits all the right notes for me. So it's Medieval Dynasty is an interesting game. It is 0.3 alpha early access, but it is a first-person medieval town-building game where you can, chop down trees and hunt and gather food and materials and stuff. And it is, but you can also there's a whole social aspect to it where you have to recruit villagers to work in your new town, and it's really cool. Medieval Dynasty will show up again in our next segment for the reason that I sort of mentioned at the beginning, where it's 0.3 alpha.
I actually picked up Medieval Dynasty. It looked cool and it was on sale, so I grabbed it on EGS. And I hopped into it a couple times, actually, just kept starting over, never really got anywhere. And then the last time I started it up, I was like, okay, you know what? No, I'm going to go hunting. Built myself a spear, went out searching for rabbits, found a rabbit, chucked the spear at the rabbit. The first spear disappeared in the ground, so I had to build myself another spear. Went out to try and find another rabbit, found another rabbit, chucked the spear at it, hit the rabbit, killed the rabbit, and then before I could get to it and get my spear or the rabbit's corpse back, the rabbit just sank through the world geometry and disappeared, and I was like,
That's amazing.
I'm gonna come back when you're not a 0.03 alpha.
Yeah.
Was it a frightened rabbit?
Well, not anymore.
An aside, I mean there was that clip that you sent, Shiver, that reminded me of it. But I found last year or the year before, I don't even remember when, I found one of my new favorite bands, which is called Frightened Rabbit. But yeah, I found them just after their lead had committed suicide, and it depressed the hell out of me because I'm never going to hear any more of their music.
That would definitely do it. Yeah. So I wanted to give them a call out for a couple things about this game. They have some extremely talented artists working for them. The game is not overall. I mean, it overall visually looks good, but it's not overall visually stunning, except for a couple things. Their ground scatter is some of the best I've ever seen in any game. Like, it is spectacularly good. The close detail on the ground.
It's so good that I found it incredibly difficult to find stones. Because they're go find stones on the ground. And it's like...
They're covered in moss, and they're like,
Where?
Yeah. They're actually there. You just have to look really closely, yeah. The other thing is, while the water is not perfect in the game, the water looks absolutely amazing. Some of the physics effects with the water aren't perfect, but the actual visuals of it are excellent. Which we all know water in games is extremely difficult to do well. So I wanted to give them a shout out for that. Very hard to do well, especially in an early access release. And there's some other things that really give me a lot of hope for the game being really good at the end. They have, like, you're probably wondering, so you build a town, but it's in first person. Do you just do everything all the time? No, you hire villagers and you can tell them to go and, sow crops, and then they harvest the crops, and then they, do stuff with the crops. And this is all, full size NPCs in, a game, and in like a first person game. And so that whole system is really impressive. And though the last thing I wanted to mention is, as you kind of noted there, the even beyond the actual like super fine detailed ground scatter is the procedural scattering of like plants and rocks and sticks and stuff is really impressive too. Something actually I was sort of thinking about Star Citizen is something they have to really work on, because they won't be able to do any of it manually. Is they'll have to really get a good system like that in, where things that you can pick up and gather need to be very well scattered throughout the world. So yeah. Anyway, last one is I started playing Divinity Original Sin 2 again, because I'm now playing it cooperatively with one of my friends, starting over from the beginning. He wanted to play through the campaign, so I'm playing it with him. We have 3 undead characters in our party. So that's interesting.
That game is just so damn good. But and I'm playing through with a couple of my friends as well. The problem that we're all having as we play it is every time we sit there and play it, we're like, man, I wish that this was Baldur's Gate 3.
It will be soon.
I know. I know.
I understand.
BG3.
I'm having the same experience, but I'm still enjoying playing through Divinity again. It is a very interesting experience trying to adapt to playing an undead character, though, because as you probably know, poison heals you and heals hurt you, so it makes for some interesting gameplay mechanics. Also, poison on the ground explodes, so if you have like a fire wizard, you like run into the poison to get healed, and then somebody blows you up by accident. It's very interesting. Anyway, that's it for me. Someone else take over now.
Shiver, what are you playing?
I actually forgot one on my list, so I'll say that first before I forget. I also have been playing Raft lately, and I still don't get it. And I'll get there eventually. I'll get there.
Raft, hey? So
What's
you're saying you're not happy with it? Also, David, I'm going to give you another reminder. Since you're streaming in 720p again, stop streaming in 720p.
Right. Gotta do it. I'll try and remember. It's not like you need to see our mugs in 1080 anyway. Hey, Grit. Shiver, what is your question on Raft? Because Cass and I put in...
Why?
Why what?
Why do anything?
Survive.
Why?
Funnily enough, there is actually a story to Raft. If you get far enough, you start getting like there's a whole story to what happened to the world and where all the people have gone, and like you can follow a story.
Make me want to play it then. Where's this story? I've just been sat on a plank of wood with a shark following me.
Well, you gotta make a larger plank of wood.
I did, and then the fucking shark fucking ate the fucking wood, and I was like, fuck you.
And then you have it's most survival games, you're fighting so many things, right? And you've got to go out and you build yourself a little place, and then you go and explore and you kill things.
Why
and
can't
bring
I
it
make
back
friends
and
with
kill
the shark?
Well, his name is Bruce.
The shark is not the bad guy in this. If anything, I'm the bad guy because I've invaded the shark's territory, and all the shark's trying to do is survive. It's an animal.
Yeah,
it's what sharks do.
So
the shark's not a bad guy.
Eventually,
why
in Raft,
why can't I feed the shark?
You can make shark bait, and throw the shark bait. You can also eventually ring your raft with metal, like metal raft pieces that the shark can't eat. So the shark will stop trying to eat your boat so that you don't have to kill the shark. The problem with that is shark makes great meals. When you start cooking the shark, it actually gives a lot of hunger back. My discovery with Raft is it shouldn't be played on normal. It should actually be played on easy.
Ah,
Ugh.
No, I know that that's the thought, but hey Jake,
that was the last game I remember that being like a very strong recommendation with was Divinity Original Sin. Or not Divinity Original Sin. What am I talking about? Blah. Dragon Age Origins, the first one.
right?
That game was hard as fuck, and a lot of people could not get through it unless they did it on easy.
What I found with Raft is if you're on normal, your health, like your hunger and your water meters go down so quickly that it's all you're doing is struggling to keep those up, and you have almost no time to like build out your raft. Whereas if you go down on easy, the only thing that changes is those hunger meters, and it gives you a lot more time to explore, to build, to figure out the other game systems, because the game actually has a lot of different game systems that are really interesting and really intricate, and I really like it. It's possibly, in my opinion, the best multiplayer survival game out there right now. But on normal, it's too hard. I love
So
Raft.
you want to hear
though.
something? You want to hear something weird?
What?
I own Raft. I don't know how I got it, and I just looked in my Steam store for in my Steam purchase history, and it's not on here. So I don't really understand
All right.
where I got it from. Someone must have gifted it to me because it's not in my purchase history.
But yeah, like
Actually,
there's
but I went to like favorite. I went to like add it to my wish list, and it's like you already own it, and I'm like, oh, how? I don't understand.
I saw that you owned it and had put like 12 minutes into it or something, which
Yep.
I found funny.
I played it. I played it like a year and a half ago or something for like a little while, and it was super early and didn't work very well. And I was just like, okay, I'll come back.
Yeah. It's still early access. It's not like out and launched, but they're updating it. It's great. Love the game. Can't say better things about it. Also, really interesting, they do not have a roadmap. They've specifically said that they will never have a roadmap because they don't want to be beholden to people's expectations of this is what you promised us. Where is it? And I'm like, all right, small team. I respect that.
I found it. I got it. I did. I got it almost a year and a half ago. No, 2.5 years ago. That's why I'm so fuzzy on it. I got it 2.5 years ago from my niece as a birthday present.
There you go.
And I played. That's when I played it. I played it in 2018, and
Yeah,
it
you should
was
try it again.
it was super rough, and it sort of played, but there was almost nothing to do, and it was hard even then. So yeah,
I cannot recommend it more highly right now.
I'll have to try it out.
If
That's
you're
awesome.
looking for a survival game that is on, it's quite different from most other survival games. Like most of the survival games have the same general thing. You start with nothing, build yourself an axe, chop down a tree, build a house, and like keep building. They're all very sort of samey. Raft is different. It's your entire world is your house. Yeah. Shiver,
I'll keep trying it.
carry on. It's still you.
Phasmophobia. With that guy. Sometimes. I love Phasmophobia. It no longer scares me, but I do enjoy giving the ghost an absolute tirade of abuse. It's brilliant.
Oh, excellent.
Among Us, because it's fun being lied and manipulated 2. Can't get enough of it. Apparently, I've got a tell. My favorite maneuver at the moment is to kill someone, and then someone else sees me do it, so I report the body and say, that guy did it, and it worked on CS's brother, and everyone believed me, and CS was like, no. Look, he's telling the truth, I know this, and everyone voted him off, and I was like, I've fucking won this game. Nothing's ever going to beat that. I've won. It doesn't matter anymore. That was amazing. And
Yep.
I've got
I was there for it.
started.
It was impressive.
Proud lad. And I've recently started replaying Kerbal Space Program again.
Nice.
They finally completed that game, right? There's like a story mode and such.
Yeah, it's been done for a long time.
Story mode, yeah.
Yeah,
It's been done for a long time.
I haven't played that in so long, and I probably should because Kerbal 2 has been delayed for 97 years.
When does it actually like? It looks like it came out. So its initial release was in 2011. It actually looks like it was finished in 2015.
Yeah,
so it's been done for
didn't they
a long
just
time.
last year delay Kerbal 2 for like a year or two?
They switched developers. So
Yeah,
it's big change.
yeah.
Yes, they switched developers. They didn't pull the rug out from underneath the current developers at all in any way, shape, or form, and it was completely morally fine thing to do.
Yes.
All right, I'll start with mine, I guess. So I picked up Immortals: Phoenix Rising on the Switch because I wanted an Assassin's Creed-like to play on the Switch because the Switch is what I play at night in bed before going to sleep, and it was there and it was on sale, so I grabbed it. It's all right so far. Gameplay is, I mean, it's Assassin's Creed but simplified. Some of the simplifications are good. Some of them are not as good, but it's funny enough. It's plays fine. It looks decent on a Switch. Like I'm pretty impressed with the game so far. I've got to put some more time in it, but glad I grabbed it. I also picked up something that was a little more interesting called As Far as the Eye, which is it's really weird. It's almost like a Civ like, except instead of like in Civ 6 or whatever, you can make it be the entire world if you want, right? Huge areas. As Far as the Eye, it's like a little tiny map, and you have to survive on that one map. You've got X number of turns until everything is destroyed, and you have to start up your little camp, get your guys to start mining stuff, and you have to mine a certain amount of materials to get to the next little tiny map, where you have to start again and get the amount of materials to get to the next little tiny map. And all the ways you're going, you've only got like 3, 4, 5 workers, but they have experience. They gain experience as they're working on stuff. So if you've got one guy he's the best builder, right? So it takes him less time to build new buildings. And you've got another one who's the best gatherer. So it takes him, and it's really detailed and really, really interesting as far as the eye. It's also really complicated, and they've got weird names for everything, and there's a ton of like lore that they built in that matters to the gameplay that you have to sort of try and understand. And Shiver, I can see you've got questions.
So, if it's really, complicated, would you think it's fair to say that there's more than meets the eye?
There's definitely more than meets the eye.
I have a question for you.
What's that?
It does not have very good Steam ratings.
Really?
As somebody who's played it, why?
I don't know. I'd have to take a look at what Steam says.
Okay.
Give me 1 second.
Well, it's not terrible, but the recent reviews are mixed, and the all reviews are at 79%, which is not bad, but it's not stellar.
The Steam reviews are really, they're useful to give you an insight to people. I check the negative reviews first to see what they're saying, because people will give a fucking negative review because it doesn't have the color red. But the game is absolutely amazing, apart from the fact that it's colored red. There's no color red in there, so I've had to give it a bad rating. But there's plenty of games on Steam that
hang
have
on,
excellent
hang on.
negative reviews, and I like
Here
it,
it is.
but I'm a shit person.
The game seems fun, and I really like the style, but I couldn't beat the tutorial. The premise of the game is promising, but it's ruined by its frankly terrible UI. Resource gathering, which is a central point, is frustrating and confusing because many buildings have unintuitive dependency. Like, I said it's complicated. And it is complicated. There is a ton of depth and detail to it. It takes time to master. It doesn't have a story. It's got a tutorial, and the tutorial is hard. I failed like the last level of the tutorial. I failed it multiple times because I didn't get what I was having to do. I think it's a good game. I think it, especially if you really like strategy games like that, like Civ, but you're looking for something completely different. This is it. It's still strategy, but it's not, I don't know, grand.
I want to play it, so I'm sticking it on my wish list for now.
Moderate strategy.
It's more personal.
Also,
Like,
the graphics look really cool.
Right? It's got a look, as Jake would say.
As Jake would say, yes. Because the world is so small, they seem to put an enormous amount of detail in.
Yeah, it's very detailed, and it's more personal, right? Each of your workers has a name, and you're like, no, I want this guy to do this because he does this, and you care more about your individual dudes, which is not something you normally see in a Civ like, right? Like, who cares about your Civ units? Anyway, I like it. It was cool. What else?
I just want to say, this is completely off topic, but it's already getting on my tits. On your background, there's a single white dot by your left ear, and it's fucking annoying.
Do you know what it is? Do you know what it is?
What is it?
Eric, do you know what it is?
Annoying.
Oh, it's the Earth.
This is Earth. This is everything and everyone.
No wonder it's fucking annoying me.
It's pale blue dot.
That's the pale blue dot picture from Saturn. The picture was taken from Saturn of Earth.
I don't know if it still is.
Cassini. Not the actual guy, but the spacecraft named after him.
Oh, god damn it, you preempted my joke. All the fucklords in one picture.
All the game road maps in one
so
shot.
Much.
All the game road maps are in that picture right there.
Oh.
Oh.
Hey, look, you see that fuckboy over there on that planet? God, I hate him.
I can see my house from here. Okay. I've also been playing, as Shiver and I were discussing, Raft. Really love Raft. Jake started a wave. I don't actually know what that means. Why is it telling me that Jake started a wave? And it told me that someone else started a wave earlier. So thank you for starting waves. I'll do a wave.
Thank you, Griffin.
Hey, Griffin.
Oh,
thank
and
you very
Sunref.
much.
Griffin.
Hey, Griff.
No, Griffin. You're terrible at reading. You really are.
What?
Jesus God. Thank you, Griffin, for handing out 3 tier 1 subs to people in the channel.
Oh,
Thank you very much.
Oh,
Griffin.
jeez. Okay, I see why. I was looking at the multi-stream chat just in case someone was watching us on YouTube, and it doesn't tell me what people are doing in that. I have to switch back to the other one. Now, thank you, Griff.
Thank you very much, Griffin.
Where would we know Griffin Gaming RPG from?
I don't know. Never heard that
Could
name.
that possibly be Soul Citizens that do their own Star Citizen podcast and their own Friday night show?
Could it
Maybe.
possibly be?
TV/Soul Citizens.
I think it
Thank
is.
you very much, Griffin.
And Shiver.
Me? What?
Um, for like doing the things that we should do because it's conscientious and I forget because I don't know how Twitch works.
I mean, it's my thing when people interact. When you're a streamer and you interact with the chat, it makes me want to stay more. So I like to do it if we're streaming.
I'm just bad at
it. It really bugs me when we're doing TTRPGs because I can't fucking break character in the middle of a stream and say, "Oh my god, thank you," but I really fucking want to.
That's fair. I've also been playing Raft. Love it, love it, love it. I picked up, for some reason, Hell Let Loose, which is a sort of hardcore, realistic World War II shooter. Multiplayer only, 100v100. I think it's still in early access as well. Really interesting, really hard. You do not know where you died from. Like, you're just, oh, I'm dead. Oh, I'm dead. Oh, that guy's dead. But really interesting. I hope it keeps getting better. I find my problem with games like I wanted something like Call of Duty 1 and 2, right? I really liked World War II shooters and feel like we haven't had a good one in a long time.
This game looks really good.
Yeah. But it's hard.
Does it play good?
It plays really well, hard. But it's really hard. Like you have to, like you move slowly, you move cover to cover. You've got to, take your time, pick your shots. It's hard.
Almost like Arma 3, sort of, maybe without the janky.
Sort of, yeah. But it's also 100v100, and it's like you almost need to be with a squad of decent people because you get into a squad and you've got roles, and it's sort of what I always wanted Battlefield to be, but always found that Battlefield everyone just fucked off wherever they wanted. You can't do that in Hell Let Loose because like it's a lot more structured, which I really like. Really like the game. Got to put more time into it. I've also been playing, because they updated somewhat recently, a lot more Genshin Impact. I really like that game. It's really good. I can't tell if Shiver's oh yeah, he just moved. You were so still, I couldn't tell.
Why does that always fucking happen to me? I'm just sat here and people are like, is he dead? Is he frozen? It's like, no, I'm just able to fucking sit still because I haven't got fucking ants in my pants or something like that. What the fuck is the problem with everyone else who just can't sit still for 20 seconds?
Why don't you have ants in your pants? Thought that was
I have
like
ants in my eyes.
Oh, okay, that's fair.
No. This game looks really good. I want it.
Which, Hell Let Loose?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good.
Where would you say it's at in terms of early access? Like, we're talking like a quarter done, half done?
No idea. I haven't looked into that enough.
Okay. But it plays well enough to be a mostly finished game?
It plays pretty well, yeah. I think they're still adding more guns, more maps, more stuff, but it's functionally done. Like, it didn't seem janky. It didn't seem unfinished. It didn't seem buggy. It seemed like good, but I think there's just a lot more content they want to add.
And Hell Let Loose has a roadmap.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
So Genshin Impact recently added a new area. Giant ice mountain. Man, I don't know. I don't think either of you have played Genshin Impact at all. I don't know if anyone in chat has played Genshin Impact, but they did a really, really good job on this new area. It's phenomenal questing. It's one of those areas that, like, all the quests lead to each other, all the collectibles lead to each other. It flows really well, and you seldom see that in a giant open world game like that. It's this one really tightly put together area that has just really good flow all the way through it. Loved it. And then the last thing I've been playing is more Divinity Original Sin 2. Yeah. All right. Wow, that was a long chapter 0.
It was a very long chapter. It was 35 minutes long.
All right, well, it's time
We
to...
might get through the stream time after all. God, I miss Jake.
I know. It's time for...
Bastard getting a dream job. How selfish. What about our needs?
If only we could actually pay him, then maybe we could have been playing. Why didn't any of you win the lottery? Come on.
I'd have to play it.
Oh, that would probably help.
My fucking in-laws, this is hilarious. They bought a lottery ticket, that's the right word, for my 7-year-old nephew. Just because, New Year, you give the nephew money, apparently. Anyway, they gave him this lottery ticket, and that motherfucker won 100,000 fucking yen.
How much is that in real
That's
money?
about $1,000 American.
Nice.
About $1,000 American dollars. And it's like,
He's 7 years old.
Not bad.
and that guy, he gets 10,000 yen from relatives as well. He's got more money than most of us, and he's 7.
Should ask him for a loan.
Yeah. I keep saying he's going to fucking take us out for a meal. Bollocks to it.
That's good.
Oh, that's amazing.
All right. The accurately named segment 2, one game you want. Shiver, what's a game you want?
I put down several here.
I noticed.
Yeah. Can I say several?
Yes.
Yeah.
One of them I'm always going to say until it comes out. Bloodlines 2. I'm still hopeful. I'm still optimistic.
Look, it
I
can't be
just want my second Bloodlines.
it can't be as bad a launch as Cyberpunk's, right?
Yes, it can.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
It can't
Okay.
be as bad launch as the first one.
Cyberpunk's was bad, but there have been some really bad launches. Cyberpunk's is bad
Yeah.
because there were 13 million people who bought it. There
Yeah.
have been some well and truly horrific game launches.
Yeah.
Anthem,
it's-
Avengers.
Every MMO that launches, for instance,
I was gonna say,
first day of launch.
a couple. World of Warcraft at launch. Oh, you can play it in 2 weeks when it finally comes back online.
Yeah. Actually, there's another game, sort of looter shooter that I've been keeping my eye on, Outriders, also by Square Enix. It's published by Square Enix, made by People Can Fly. I've been keeping my eye on it ever since, Avengers didn't avenge. And I was sort of happy that they were like, okay, the original release date was February. We are delaying it another 2 months because we're not ready. And I'm like, good. Thank you. Do that. If it's not ready, do that. Yeah, Jake, it looks okay. But I'm
Bloodlines 2 is in that similar place at the moment where the gameplay they showed, half the people were like, oh, this looks like shit. Oh, the graphics look like from 1995. It's like, who cares about the graphics as long as the game is good? And they haven't shown anything since. So now there are these great big conspiracy theories saying, oh, well, they've completely messed the game up. They're not showing anything that's going to be tracked. But they could all, hardly anyone's saying, yeah, but they could also just be working really hard on the game. We simply don't know. Simple as that.
Mm-hmm.
But let's draw our conclusions based on literally nothing. I mean,
This is funny,
not
I'm looking
literally
at-
nothing because there's been bad things, but
I'm looking at some of the gameplay from that game. It does not look like it was not made in '95. That's funny.
what else do you want,
Um,
Shiver?
Shrug, upcoming. Oh god, someone's moved their thing. Arkham, but not Arkham. Batman, but not Batman game. Gotham Knights. To give it its full title, because that looks like it could be fun. Bit of co-op. Arkham punchy. Yeah.
Could be.
Maybe.
We'll see. I loved the first Batman Asylum. Loved Asylum. After Asylum, could not get into any of the others.
Why?
Honestly, I found that specific weird. The bot has been disconnected for some reason. Anyway, that I don't know. I found that specific gameplay style didn't, in my opinion, fit well with an open world. I didn't like it.
Fair enough. I mean, huge Batman fan, so I and they got everything just right to make you feel like you're actually Batman. So I went nuts for it. But I mean, the thing is, if you weren't a massive Batman fan, you could just pick up Arkham Knight, and that would do you. If you want more of the same sort of thing, pick up the rest of the games. But yeah, I get where you're coming from. Evil Genius 2.
Yep.
Fuck yes.
Also, the next one you're about to say.
Brian Blessed. Want Evil Genius 2. Really want Evil Genius 2. And Humankind. I got. Did you play? Have you I pre-ordered it because I wanted to play the open dev thing.
Yeah.
Nope.
It looks pretty good. It played pretty well. It was Civ.
It looks
but
really
not
good.
Civ, if that makes sense.
It does.
Civ's needed a competitor for a long time, and Humankind looks really good.
Yes, they put their own little spin on it.
Also,
It's
gonna
not-
give them some props. The folks making Civ have done a good job still making pretty good games, despite the fact that they've had almost no competition in that market forever.
I'm going to butcher this name completely, but hey there, RNDTDJ. Yes, this is being simulcast on Twitch and on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
We're trying out new
Yeah,
things.
you got Streamlabs Prime, but I didn't even know. What they were.
All right, Eric, what do you want?
So after a bit of thought, I actually decided to say one game I want is Medieval Dynasty. So after playing Medieval Dynasty in early access, I was getting a lot of visions of how ridiculously good that game could be if the rest of their development goes well. They have the underlying game systems are amazing, and as I've already noted, there's some really cool graphics in the game and some really impressive stuff. I think if that game is finished off well, it will be a lot of fun building your own little town and filling it up with people, and I can't wait for that. Also, I wanted to mention the last thing I wanted to mention because it just popped into my head. For the games out there where you cut down trees. So I know it sounds like a very narrow window of things to talk about, but there are lots of games where you cut down trees. Some games, they start off with your guys theoretically cut down a tree, but it doesn't actually go anywhere. Back in the day, they would cut down trees, but they never actually disappeared. There were some games like that. There were some games where you cut down the trees, they never grew back. There were some games where you cut down the trees and they stopped drawing the 4 pixels that made up the tree. The big move forward there, actually, making that type of activity better, was one of our favorite games to call out as an excellent game. And my brain is not firing on it. Come on, The Forest. The Forest was the first game that I had experienced to do a really excellent job of that, where you actually, when you hit the tree, it actually took a chunk out of the tree, and then when it fell down, it was an actual thing that fell down. Medieval Dynasty has taken that to the next level. The trees in that game look incredible, but secondly, the tree actually falls right, and then you have to chop it a few more times once it's down to reduce it down to logs. And when it's on the ground, the like interim states actually still look like the original tree. Very impressive for those people who've actually like seen the evolution from like Warcraft 2 to the current day.
So would you say that the whole tree tech thing has branched out a lot?
Yes. Did you spend my entire explanation trying to come up with?
Oh no, I've got loads more. But if you want me to just leave it, I'll leave it.
Okay.
Okay.
No, I'm good. I'll take
I
a few
twigged
more.
onto you there.
I know it's a weird thing to be impressed by, but I was very impressed by it.
Sure,
They did a
don't
good
make me
job.
bark at you.
And meanwhile, something that they've also
I do,
done
would
in
you give me
games
the
for a very
chop?
long time. Something they've also done in games for a very long time. Hunting in Medieval Dynasty is in the game and it works and everything, but the physics are not good and the animals do not move very well. But that's probably an artifact of it being early, like super early access. But yeah, animations on animals are weird, and also you can throw 4 spears at an animal, and they're like sticking out of the animal, and it's not dead, and it's running around, and you're like, what is happening?
So, do you think in Medieval Dynasty the trees that they've got now are going to make it to the final cut, or do you have to ask the developer more questions about that?
So the game I want is the only game that matters right now.
What's that?
It's new Pokemon Snap, which comes out end of April, April 30th. New Pokemon Snap on the Switch. We're going to get to take pictures of Pokemon again, and I could not be more excited because Pokemon Snap was one of the very best games on the Nintendo 64, and we all need Pokemon Snap.
Okay. Good
Do you
to
know what Pokemon Snap is? Did you play
Mm-mm.
Pokemon Snap on... You never played Pokemon Snap?
I never had a
Fucking hate
Nintendo.
Pokemon.
What was that, Sure?
I fucking hate Pokemon.
You live in Japan.
I
You're
know.
not allowed. Look, Pokemon Snap, the entire idea of Pokemon Snap is you were sat in like a rail thing, right? It was a rail shooter. But instead of a gun, you had a camera and you had to watch Pokemon, and there's Pokemon all around you and they're interacting with things like you're watching them, and Pikachu will come up to a surfboard and act like he's on a surfboard. And if you get a picture of him while he's on the surfboard, acting like he's on a surfboard, you get extra points for the picture. Right? And then you could throw bait at the water at certain times to make Magikarp jump out, and you could evolve the Magikarp to gear. Like, there's all these things that you can do, but it's just you're on rails and you're going through the level and taking picture of Pokemon. But, and here's where I'm really excited for it on the Switch, is the idea of, oh, I don't need to control the camera with a shitty N64 analog or like joystick, right? It'll just be the Switch, and I can move it like a camera and take, like, I'm so excited for Pokemon Snap on the Switch. Cannot wait. And yes, Jake, you're right. I do hope it has more improvements than Animal Crossing. I also hope it has more levels than the original Pokemon Snap had, because it only had like 6 levels or something. But new Pokemon Snap, super excited. Gonna be great.
You mod it so you can shoot them, or worse.
It's on the Switch, so you can't mod it.
Nintendo would lose their minds if you modded one of their games.
I mean, I'd be interested in it if I could garrot a Pokemon.
I mean, you can't. But there's one crossover that I've always really, really wanted, which is I've always wanted Fire Emblem and Pokemon to cross over. I think that would be a great, like a tactics game, but Pokemon. That would be cool.
Moving right along.
Yep. Okay. We are on to...
Just slowly choke one of those fucking Pokemon until you can see the life leaving its eyes.
That would be
we're on
fun,
Aim
to
for that.
we're on to segment 4. Hey, look, guys, news.
Go for it, man.
Okay, so we are getting some Resident Evil 8 news very shortly. I think 2 days on Thursday. There's going to be more of Resident Evil, or sorry, more of Village
Yes.
revealed. Village or Resident Evil 8. Really excited. They previewed Giant Lady, and the internet has exploded on the Giant Lady, literally.
Come on, Shiver. Come on.
He already has.
No. No.
Anyway, I'm really looking forward to finding out more about Village. I cannot wait for more Resident Evil. 7 was one of the creepier things I've ever played. It bothered me so much. Like it took me. It took everything I had to play that game. It was tough. Great game though.
Yeah, I haven't actually played a Resident Evil game since like the late 90s, probably.
I mean, if you played
Because-
Resident Evil 4, then you've played what is still the best Resident Evil.
I think me and my buddy played Resident Evil 2.
Oh, okay. Completely different now.
I haven't played a Resident Evil game since then. I don't tend to play horror games much.
So Resident Evils 4 through 6 were not really horror games. They were just action, basically.
So they didn't have zombies?
Well, they did. They had zombies, and they'd have like 1 or 2 jump scares in the entire thing, but they were like... They were not horror games. They were action zombie games. 7 is horror.
Yeah.
7 is straight up body horror. Like amputations, maggots infesting things, like just like creepy shit. And it seems like Village is going more gothic horror. So
Yeah, I saw that. It looks interesting. That I remember we saw the trailer during one of our game shows there.
Yep.
It looked really good.
yep. So we find out more about that on Thursday. Super excited.
Nice.
It's sounding like GPU stock is going to continue sucking for
For a long time.
a long time. I'm sorry, Sugar.
Honestly, I'm expecting that they'll probably. I'm actually almost convinced that the next generation of GPUs is going to come out before they ever get this stock up for this generation. And the reason I say that is that AMD has another generation coming out this year. I don't know if they're going to get their stock up before it comes out.
Yeah, it's not
And
good.
it's gonna. I was thinking about that, and I'm like, oh my god, people are gonna be getting their 3080s, and like the 4080 is gonna be coming out like a week later.
It's pretty bad.
Like,
It's
11th
rough.
or 12th in the queue now, and I ordered 20 minutes after it went live.
That gives you an idea of how many they've actually made. They've made hardly any.
Yep.
Like in months and months and months.
I'll be right back. Can you guys take the next one?
Yeah, sure. So apparently Nvidia is not doing a Founders Edition of the 3060. That's probably a good move. They need to actually get some video cards in the wild. What do you think about this, Trevor?
I don't. I still want my 3080. I don't care about anyone else. Where's my fucking 3080? And then I'll start caring about other people. Bollocks to them.
So the
At this point, I'm going to
3060,
start being selfish.
the 3060 is planned to come out in late February. It It is a pretty decent price point. It's $329 US if anyone could ever actually buy it for that amount of money. Also has a reasonable amount of GRAM or VRAM. I mean, sorry. I think this is probably because of this is a watcher we know. This is a response to AMD's threat. Apparently, the word out there on the street is that the 3060 was originally going to be a 6 gig card, but they instead put it out as a 12 gig card because of the 6800 has 16 gigs of RAM.
I mean, those mid-high range GPUs tend to be the most popular because they're the most affordable and
Most
they give
affordable.
a good result.
So, in terms of actual like pure compute, the 3060 is 13 teraflops, so it's a little bit more powerful than like an Xbox Series X, for example. Only slightly though. Yeah, so everyone's looking forward to this, but it is still very uncertain whether or not they're going to be able to make any of these either. It's still Ampere. It's the same process, so it's a big question mark as to how many of these we'll actually see on the street.
I mean, when Nvidia first released the 3080, it was the first time that they'd used Samsung rather than oh god, what's the biggest manufacturer?
TSMC.
Thank you. And AMD have gone with TSMC, but they're having just as many stock issues. And people were saying, "Well, you've gone with Samsung. Of course, you're going to get these stock issues." But this proves that it's not because of the manufacturer; it's because of 2020.
It's because demand is ridiculously high, and the foundries are just totally slammed. They're making as many chips as they can. There's not enough foundry capacity.
Well,
right now.
it's interesting. It's
They
something.
just need to send 15 to the place I ordered from. Just 15. 15.
It's
15,
interesting
please.
because one of the things that we were talking about a little bit before the show even started was we were saying that this is going to be a really interesting year for release dates for computer games or video games in general, right? Because 2020 and still into 2021 are so fucked up. And it's like we're going to be fucked up for I mean, Canada's looking at maybe September this year to have everyone in Canada vaccinated, but that's
Maybe.
Pretty good.
maybe. That's
But
maybe.
then everything was that before everything went sideways this week?
No, the apparently the sideways this week is just in deferring for better production in 2 weeks.
Oh, okay.
We're not sending anything these 2 weeks so that in the next coming weeks we can produce more faster. Anyway, but like
Interesting.
I mean, things are shut down for honestly most of this year as well too in most places. So I think it's going to be a really interesting year to see what moves, what keeps their release date, what is like no, you know.
Hey Shiver, I got a GPU for you to look at here. I'm just dropping the link into our Twitch chat.
What?
Sapphire, who
pretty
by the way makes excellent GPUs, by the way, or graphics cards. They're putting out this card, which is a fanless 5700 XT.
Wow.
So it's passively cooled 5700 XT. Holy shit! There's gonna be a
Wow.
lot of metal on that thing.
Have you seen the passive PSUs you can get? I think.
Oh,
I've
God,
only ever
I-
seen one
no.
for like 400 watts, so you know it's not going to power a gaming machine, but
No.
it's still a pretty neat idea. There was a water-cooled PSU.
What?
I will say my PSU almost never turns on.
The fan? Yeah,
The fan-
not with it. Not with it open like that. You're
No.
probably not.
My fan almost never runs. It's not running right now at all. Like it never runs. It's great. Okay. Hitman 3. So Hitman 3's been in a little bit of hot water this week. It's exclusive to Epic. Oh, did you read my...
Yeah, I sorry, I looked at the document.
I said Hitman 3's been in some water. Someone must have thrown in a toaster. That's a way you can kill... Anyway.
Doesn't work. Well, at least it doesn't work in the UK because of the way the electric thing. Your electric cuts out before you and you just end up with soggy toast
It's...
and a really big feeling of disappointment.
Yeah, any...
No one wants soggy toast.
Any outlets near enough to a source of water have to be GFI, so that people can't get
Thanks,
electrocuted.
government.
No, that's actually because I learned to do proper electrician work, so I could.
Oh, awesome.
I could do electrical work up to code, because never know when you might need to change a plug. Am I right?
Sure. If they don't find you handsome, at least they
can find you handy.
Would you trust this man with your house electrics? Knowing him, he comes in with a bow tie and a fez on.
Oh dear lord!
All right.
Jake just says no in chat.
He's right.
I did full electrical on an apartment that I built, and it passed first try, no problems. So I can do electrical. I can run electrical. So, okay, Hitman 3.
What's wrong with Hitman 3, David?
Okay, so there's a couple things wrong with... Well, there were a couple things wrong with Hitman 3. It's going to be unclear how they solve it, but Hitman 3 is coming exclusive to Epic. The way Hitman 2 worked is Hitman 2, if you owned both Hitman 1 and Hitman 2, you could access all of the levels of Hitman 1 in Hitman 2. You could play the entire Hitman 1 from Hitman 2. People were really angry because there was no way, because it's exclusive to Epic, they wouldn't be able to access their Steam Hitman 1 and Hitman 2 that they already owned. They'd have to re-buy it on Epic. And the initial statement from Epic was that everyone would get, or from IOI, I believe, was that everyone who bought Hitman 3 within a certain period would get Hitman 1 free and would get a Hitman 2 for like 20% or something of the normal price. Anyway, it sounds like Epic and IOI are working on something so that anyone who buys Hitman 3 and owns Hitman 1 and 2 on Steam will be able to access all of their stuff in Hitman 3, because that's the way it should be. Anyway, it was a big kerfuffle earlier this week or last week, I don't remember when, but they've cleared it up now that you will be able to access all of the levels.
I'm curious how they're going to, how you're going to prove that.
That I don't know yet. They might have to implement their own login.
Like, you're gonna have a Steam integration into Epic Game Store.
Well, no, you might, but they might have to implement a IOI integration, right? So you create an IOI account that knows.
Oh, and you register all your games with them. Okay.
Register your games with them, and then access it from... Who knows? Who knows what they'll do, but they're working on something.
It's one of those issues that would never have come up until this situation arrives, and then
yeah.
Fuck.
Yeah.
Let's figure it out. And they figured it out.
Yeah. No, and I'm glad they figured it out.
As long as they're working on it, and they didn't just tell people to go pound sand, that's good.
Yeah. Cyberpunk is still getting a lot of flack. Articles coming out about the development of it and the rush and the crunch that was used and so on and so forth, and lots of decisions that were made that suck. But also it keeps getting hit by lawsuits. They've now been hit by 2 investor lawsuits, which
they're not going anywhere.
They're probably not going anywhere, but
no. I honestly don't think they released the game in bad faith. So
I think they did on original consoles.
I don't think so.
I think all they would have had to do is plug it in and look at it and be like, no, we can't
Well, their argument is that it doesn't look that bad on all consoles, and the units they had, it didn't. They were. It looked fine.
No.
Which I believe because there's millions of consoles. So
The whole Fallout was Cyberpunk. It was heavily anticipated. It was quite
Yeah.
heavily marketed. And a lot of these articles are just recycling the same shit, really.
Mhm.
No,
Mhm.
I'm not saying it may or may not be true or anything like that, but it's just the same shit over and over and over. And how much of this do you think is actually just people wanting clicks?
Oh,
No,
it
absolutely.
100%
Cash in.
is. Well, yeah,
Absolutely.
it's people want clicks, but it's also like it's gonna take. I don't
Well,
think that
I saw
don't.
one article the other day. This was a fucking article that said development didn't fully start on Cyberpunk until 2016. I'm just sat there going, well, duh. We fucking know. We've known since 2016 when CD Projekt Red said it. And you're making an
Yeah.
article about this? You're earning money
Well, yeah, because
doing an
Cyberpunk
article about this? Your
is
fucking morals.
it's the news right now, right? But that's not good for Cyberpunk because they keep
No.
getting.
That was the news 5 years ago. It's not the news now.
No, but
that's like
Cyber-
me saying.
Shiver.
That's like me saying, "Oh, North Korea's got a new dictator, Kim Jong Un. Please read my article and give me money." Well, duh. Did you know that man landed on the moon? It was a guy called Neil Armstrong.
No, that was fake. Anyway, I find it interesting because CDPR have quite a hole that they have to dig themselves out of, and I don't think that their roadmap that they released is going to help either.
No, it'll just be they'll dig themselves out with a raft of free DLCs and patches that fix the game, and then it'll be.
What you mean,
fine
like
in a
they
year.
did with The Witcher 3?
Yep,
Crazy.
and which they already said they were going to do with this game. Honestly, there is almost no studio out there that I trust more to fix a game than CD Projekt Red. Even The Witcher 3 was a little rough to begin.
I am hoping that this makes them. I really hope this makes them re-examine.
Yep.
A lot though, like
They had too
take
much
some
pressure
lesson-
on the. Well, you know what they did wrong is they I think that what happened was that they issued a release date too early the first time around.
Yeah.
Honestly, the release date should have originally been December, and then they should have
Should've
pushed it
delayed
back
into
to
this year.
July of 2021.
Yeah.
That's what should have happened, but instead they had that stupid April release date that they obviously couldn't even come close to hitting.
It was
That
supposed
was
to be my birthday.
they set a release date way too early, like an actual day that it was coming out. And even I think one of their big mistakes too with they were talking about with the old consoles is they were like, you know, we were seeing such improvement day to day when we were trying to make it better, and we were making it better so much every day. We projected that it would be good enough on release day, you know, to not fall apart. And it's like, well, and what he's talking about there when he's talking about that is like 9 days before release. It was getting better fast enough that they thought they could get there. And I'm like, holy shit, man, you're kind of
Well, yeah.
that's not gonna work. Oh.
Cyberpunk had the intrinsic flaw that all games based on a TTRPG have. You will never, ever, at least with what we have now, simulate the TTRPG into a video game.
No.
Because
Baldur's-
in a TTRPG, your limit is your imagination. You can't put that into a game. There's no way in hell that that's ever going to happen, at least in my lifetime. So you're gonna have this people who are familiar with the TTRPG that expect the TTRPG, and then when they get a video game based on the TTRPG, they're a bit, oh, well, I can't. But what about? Oh, but can I? Oh, but what about? Oh.
So
And not only that, but then it's also, I mean, yeah, there's always going to be that hype letdown, right? but there's also there's on top of that there's the massive bugginess that people ran into, and it just sort of all compounded on them. The weird thing is though, from somebody, and you can all say that, I know you've all been playing it, so Cyberpunk is on PC is a good game. Like,
Yeah,
I do want to.
absolutely.
There's a game that I just heard about this week that I want to mention here, because I know that we can't mimic it yet, but there's a game right now. It's an online text RPG called AI Dungeon that it's entirely run by an AI, and every move you get, the AI determines everything, right? And it's still early. One of my friends told me about it, and he was basically saying that he started up and the game was like, you are standing in a forest, you are a detective, you are searching for a lost person, you have a pistol, it has one round chambered in the revolver. You can either shoot yourself in the head or shoot yourself in the chest.
Head.
That was his opening to one of his rounds of this game, but it's all entirely determined by an AI. We will get to the point where an AI is able to craft our games for us.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. But that's not the same as playing a TTRPG because your players are fucking insane.
Yep.
You can set up a single room. A door is there. The door is unlocked. What do? I set fire to myself. I pull out the bricks, and you're just sat there going, "Motherfucker."
I tell this story a lot, but it's still hilarious. We my nephew was our DM for our D&D game for a bit there, and he had like things planned for us to do, but he also, the town that we were staying in as like a party, got attacked like 2 or 3 times during the campaign. So we took 2 full game scenarios, and all we did was, or game sessions, and all we did was build defenses for the town. He had like things planned out for us to go and do, and we were like, "Fuck you, we're gonna build a wall."
One Christmas many years ago, my DM had planned a full Christmas session, a special like 4-6 hour session. He built like it was a dream, right? So we all woke up in this dream, and there was this church made of ice on a hill that we had to defend. And at the top of the church, there was a shining heart that blazed through and like lit and was like light and hope in the darkness. And my character looked at that and was like, I'm gonna climb this. So I spent the next 45 minutes as the other players were like going in and finding out that there's this army of snowmen that's going to be attack, and they have to defend the church from this army of snowmen. No, I'm sat outside this church with my daggers, climbing my way up, making every single climbing roll, and I get to the top and I'm like, I'm gonna break into this thing, and I break into it, and I ended the entire session because I lost it for us, and our DM had nothing else to do, and our 6-hour session that he had planned ended in 1, and it was still one of my favorite D&D moments I've ever done.
And your DM never forgave you.
Oh, he loved it.
I set up this sacrifice chamber. It was filled with 50, 60 psychotic enemies. There was fire either side, and to my mind, and I kept saying it as well, there are these sconces of fire on the sides, and my mind was, use the fucking fire, burn those bastards. That's what I thought. Nice and easy, because vampires are basically walking petrol cans. They snuck along, disabled 2 of the guards, and then one of the players jumped in front of these 50 fucking vampires and started juggling as if they're going to give a shit. It's like, look what I can do. Now you don't want to kill me. I'm just sat there going, what the hell do I do now? Because I can't kill you. I want to kill you, but I can't just kill you.
Shoulda.
Why have I not planned for you just standing in front of 50 60 vampires that want to just destroy you and juggle. Why did I not think of that?
All right. I'm going to move us back to video game news.
Why?
Yeah,
'Cause
when's the
that-
TTRPG show?
Well, start one up. Apex
Yeah,
Legends.
because I'm not already running enough.
Apex
Next up.
Legends has a new season coming February 2nd, season 8. They're bringing back an old map, or a map that's out of rotation right now, Kings Canyon, that they're going to completely destroy with the addition of a new character. I'm super excited for it, except that they've also announced that Horizon, my main, is going to be getting some nerfs, and I hate that. Don't nerf Horizon, she's the best. Apex is real good.
If you can't still be effective after nerfs, you never meant to play that character in the first place.
I don't play anyone else.
Mm-hmm.
Ever.
I understand.
Everspace 2 is out in early access. It seems to be doing well. It's last time I checked, it was reviewing at 95% positive on Steam. It took I think it actually took the highest sellers spot on Steam from Cyberpunk and some other things. So Everspace 2 is out and is apparently doing really well. So good for
That's
them.
a real pretty game. That's a real pretty game.
Yep, it's a real pretty space game. Single player space game.
Ooh.
Yep.
The problem is, I always want to do things that are. Oh, it says you can mine.
It says you
and
can mine.
loot, craft and stuff.
Yep.
I always want to trade and stuff in these games, and they're like, but it's about shooting stuff, and I'm like, but it looks very good.
Yeah, Everspace 2 looks
got-
really good. Check it out. Who wants this next one? I don't know what this one is. So,
I put it in. Rockstar painted some new NPC AI tech, which could or could not be a hint for what to expect in GTA 6. It could also just as likely be a general upgrade to 5 because it's coming out on the new consoles as well. Time will tell. Or maybe it's a bit of both. But
Man.
people are clawing for GTA 6 news. But
Which game in the end will be ported to the most platforms? Skyrim or GTA 5?
Skyrim. Skyrim, hands
I
down.
don't know.
Oh
GTA
man, I
5
saw.
earns a lot of money.
Yeah, no shit, tons of money. Skyrim. It's funny because I saw a trailer for a new Skyrim mod, and I realized how bad Skyrim looks now, compared to modern games. Just man,
Unless you mod the hell out of it.
it is rough.
One thing I forgot to mention this when we were talking about Hitman 3. I'm also really impressed because Hitman 3 is coming to the Switch. Not because the Switch can run it, but because they've started just doing cloud access for games on the Switch.
Yep. Streaming.
And perfect use for the Switch. Why not do that? Really, really glad that they're doing it. This is a tentatively exciting bit of news, but also tentatively... Bethesda are making an Indiana Jones game.
You're not going to try and pronounce it the way you wrote it?
Bethesda are going to be doing an Indiana Jones game.
Bethesda.
Machine Games published by
Are they
Bethesda.
publishing it or developing it?
Publishing, sorry.
Oh, you can say Bethesda, but you can't say publishing.
That is correct.
It's,
So,
Jake,
I have a question.
This is another reason to miss Jake. It's Machine Games are developing it, the people who did Wolfenstein.
ooh,
Wolfenstein Dev House, to be specific. So
ooh,
that-
Wwolfenstein games have been almost universally excellent. The modern
I thought the
I mean,
last one was
well,
not the one where you play as the daughters was not looked on fondly, if I remember correctly. But
really?
thought so.
There were a lot of really good ones. Was that Cyberpilot
No, it was God, I can't
or
remember.
Youngblood?
Youngblood, I think.
Yeah, Youngblood wasn't very good apparently. New Colossus was very good though, wasn't it?
I honestly don't remember. I don't I
Yeah,
can't.
New Colossus was like 90-ish.
So, how do you foresee
Indiana James,
Indiana Jones, his lesser-known younger brother,
Tomb Raider.
stamp collector? Yeah.
Tomb Raider,
Yeah.
but punching Nazis.
That's not very Indiana Jones. Indiana Jones was an investigator first. He was an archaeologist.
So was Lara Croft.
Yeah, but Lara Croft hasn't got an established set of movies. She's just big tits and jumping action.
She has an
Whereas
established
Indiana
set.
Jones
She
is
has
a bit more
movies.
cerebral.
It's
Well, now
it's
she does.
yeah, but if you're talking about making an Indiana Jones game, the closest
It's happened before. There have been Indiana Jones games before.
yeah, but weren't they like point and click adventures?
Not all of them. I mean, Indiana
okay.
Jones and the Fate of Atlantis was perfect point and click adventure, but there were action games long before, like even popular consoles like the Super Nintendo.
All I
So-
know
When?
is they've only just started working on it, so it's going to be a while before we like
5 years.
hear
Yeah.
anything.
Do
My
you
thought
think
though,
this is going to be a Tomb Raider kind of game, or do you think there's going to be a bit more investigation elements and that kind of thing?
have you played any of the?
Basically, do you think an action game?
I think they're
Ha-
trying to
ha-
go after the modern Tomb Raider games,
Have you
which
played
are
the modern Tomb
incredibly.
Raiders?
No,
'Cause-
those games make me fucking angry.
No, they're fantastic. The modern Tomb Raiders.
No,
Are,
they make me angry.
why?
I can't do them. I did my time with platforms and platform-esque games with Super Mario Bros. 3,
Yeah, right.
and I'm never doing it again.
I understand what you're saying. But you know what really makes me excited about this?
Using a whip?
No, although
Oh.
positive. That's always positive news. So it's always been a little murky, but I'm assuming because Microsoft now owns Bethesda that this will be a Game Pass game,
It will.
and therefore I don't have to worry about whether it's good or not. I'm getting it anyway.
It's true.
So if I want to play it when it comes out, I will, and if I don't want to, I don't have to pay any extra money for it.
They've also said that probably because it's being developed by Machine Games, it will not affect either Starfield or whatever it's called, or the
Starfield or
next.
Elder Scrolls 6?
Yeah.
No, because they're only publishing it.
Sargareth, if you want some talk on bicycles, so at the beginning of the pandemic, we bought a bunch of bicycles for the whole family. Didn't really get to use them much because we're lazy, and also because we had a baby, and it meant that one of us had to stay home with the baby while the other ones bicycled. But now that the baby is over a year old, we can get one of those trailer attachments for the back of the bicycle, and I'm really excited to get one of those trailer attachments for the back of the bicycle so that we can all go as a family with him in the back and go on bicycle rides. Cannot wait for that in spring. Yeah. Two more bits of news.
Next one up, Ubisoft are going to be making an open world Star Wars game, same team that did The Division. So The Division 1 and 2 are both not very well regarded, correct?
Incorrect.
Really?
They're not flawless games.
They are regarded as well done looter shooters that don't really push anything forward.
Ah.
They're good. They're not the greatest game ever. Sargareth is right. Bullet Sponge is probably the biggest issue in Division.
Oh, The Division 2 seems to have gotten better. I forget. I misremembered The Division 2's ratings. It
I liked
looks
it.
like it was rated pretty. It was rated pretty well.
Yeah, it's a good game.
So I can't give it any crap for that.
Nope.
I thought that it was. I thought
Yeah,
that
they're
it was
not-
expected to be much better, and then it was about the same as the Division 1, but it looks like it was better. So
It was. They were
They're
both.
good games.
Yeah.
They're good games.
They're good shoot
Okay.
shit.
So this is exciting news?
I think it's really exciting news. I think that I think it would be hard. I'd be hard pressed to find a developer / publisher that I'd be more excited seeing an open world Star Wars game from. Ubisoft do some of the better open world games. Someone's behind you,
Ubisoft
Shiver. You're being watched. There are others that would be better do exist, but like I'd be very happy with an Ubisoft Star Wars game.
Ubisoft could probably do a good job.
Yep.
Um,
Speaking of, this does mean that the 10-year exclusive Star Wars to EA is expiring because Ubisoft are going to be able to do stuff. I think there's other Star Wars games announcements as well.
Yeah.
More Star Wars games is good, but EA are still making Star Wars games as well. They are not stopping to make them. They have 2 or more, I think. At least 2. Yeah, it expires in 2023, but the Ubisoft game isn't going to be out until after then anyway. It's just we know that they're not extending EA's exclusivity rights. It's being opened to a wider group, which is good. You might get more devs making good Star Wars games, more eras, you know.
They kind of screwed that over when they fucked up the launch of Battlefront 2.
Yeah. They came back with I can never remember the name. Force Jedi.
Order?
Fallen Order.
Yeah.
For sure they did, but
Fantastic.
Disney was so pissed off at them when Battlefront 2 came out. I think that probably killed any chances of it being renewed.
I'm also
I
sort
might
of
be
hopeful.
old here, but LucasArts made the best Star Wars games.
yeah.
Apart from fucking KOTOR.
Yeah, KOTOR
That's a completely separate god.
KOTOR was incredible. Yeah.
KOTOR is KOTOR is probably the best, but I have a very special spot in my heart for, I think was it Rogue Squadron?
The most recent.
No, not Rogue. Rebel.
Or do you mean TIE Fighter and?
No. Jake would know.
Rogue Squadron's the most.
Republic
recent one.
Commando. Thank you, Jake. Republic Commando. That was a great game. It was one of the first games I ever remember as a first-person shooter that you could give orders to your teammates.
Yeah.
What's wrong, Shiver?
That's always a cool
So
mechanic.
fucking old.
It's got a 10 on 10 on Steam. Hold up.
Previews for that.
What?
Star Wars Republic Commando. It's on Steam, and it's got a 96% positive rating.
Yep.
Fantastic game.
Just stupendous.
Um.
Oh yeah, I own it. I should reinstall that. Anyway.
So
that's it for our news.
Yes. I think we can definitively say more Star Wars games is better.
Yep.
But yeah. I'm just gonna join in with Shiver and the yelling about something thing. That's all.
Well, before you can do that, it's time for segment to get you free shit.
segment. I love it.
This week, speaking of Star Wars, this week's free game is actually Star Wars Battlefront 2 over on
which
Epic
is
Games.
awesome because Star Wars Battlefront 2 is actually a really good game. Its launch was just fucking horrible.
Yep.
And getting it for free is you can't get much of a better price. So
yeah.
I just need to
EGS.
double check. This is the new Battlefront 2, not the
Yes,
old Battlefront.
that is correct.
Yeah, it's the new.
Okay.
It's the new Battlefront 2. It's on EGS for free right now.
Yeah, it's got a single player story. It's got multiplayer. Actually, the it being free did so well that its multiplayer servers were brought down on the day that it went free because they hadn't prepared for that many people to grab it and play it. So yeah.
I can see that.
Okay, it's time for section 8. I don't know, yell about something.
Why is it always just me?
It isn't always just you, but this week, well, I'm going to join in your second one. I'm not in Japan, so I
I'm
can't
not
join in the
literally
first
going to
one.
yell, by the way, even though I could.
I know.
So the fucking prices of fucking hardware over here on fucking Amazon. What the fuck, Amazon? Jesus fucking Christ, right? I could order a 59 fucking 100X right now on Amazon for about 100,000 yen. That's expensive because I could just get it from a local retailer if I'm willing to wait for 70,000 yen. Amazon, get your fucking shit together. You want me to fucking use you for more than fucking video? Fucking change your fucking prices. Why is it 100,000 yen? It's made like 100 miles away. Okay, it's made just over there. Why is it cheaper in the UK? Why? Why, Amazon? Because I can go to a fucking I don't even remember the name of the bloody goddamn shop. Oh, because it's all in fucking kanji. Supomo. I can go to Supomo and get it cheaper. I could get a fucking 5950X for the same price that you're selling the 5900X.
That's a very good point.
Assholes.
Agreed. Heavily agreed.
And your second yell about something?
I'm going to really yell about this one. Where's my amazing Star Trek game?
Right? There's like 40,000 Star Wars games. Come on.
The best Star Trek game I've got at the moment on the PC is a fucking modification for Stellaris.
Yep. Which is done beautifully, but why is there no Star Trek games? What the hell?
Mm-hmm.
What the hell is CBS doing?
Wonders, like, it's true. You're right, Jake. They fucking do. They really do. But we've had some fantastic Star Trek games in the past. Where's my modern, up-to-date Star Trek games? I want to see what you people can do with it. I mean, Star Trek Online, okay, yeah, it scratches an itch, but it's not very Star Trek because it's basically go there, shoot the shit. Go down to the planet, shoot this shit. There, you've done the mission. Okay. It's not very Star Trek. Where's my Star Trek game?
This is one where I agree. I could agree entirely with Jake that CBS totally just doesn't properly manage this license for video games at all. And honestly, they just need to. They seriously need to do some kind of like open bid on like pitch us a freaking Star Trek game to the entire games industry, because there should be good Star Trek games. There's an enormous amount of lore and things you could do and different types of games you could make, and just nobody's doing it.
There's Bridge Crew.
Brutal. There's Bridge Crew, which also a great game, but there's a lot of these Star Trek experiences that are in some way or another kind of small, if you know what I mean. They're just, you have this enormous universe, and they're like, we can make a game that focuses on this part of it, and then that's it. And Bridge Crew is great, and I had a great time playing it, but it's just not really what I was looking for.
Yep.
No, I entirely agree. If you have like 1,000 Star Wars games, there's no reason you can't have 1,000 Star Trek games. They have roughly, I would imagine.
You know what? I
would
have
imagine,
to disagree.
Yeah, I think that the background lore is about the same.
I have to disagree. Star Trek, while it does have like action elements to it, it is not like, it is more cerebral focused than Star Wars. Star Wars has always been more pew pew, flashy lights.
Yeah.
Star Trek is not. And quite frankly, look at look at. I mean, yeah, Jake's right. Give it to something like Larian.
That's what I was thinking. Actually, is
Star
a
Trek
company
is
like Larian.
not. Star Trek is not a name, a
Point of
brand.
Star Trek is not big explosions.
Well, it's not something that you could give to anyone, right? I wouldn't want the Call of Duty devs doing a Star Trek game. I don't even think I'd want Ubisoft doing a Star Trek. Like, Star Trek has to be written well, and there aren't
Yes, it
as
does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
companies
It
that
does,
can write well, right?
Also, something that Star Trek Online does not do a very good job of.
But it's
You say it has to be written well. That's one approach to it. But why not just? do the Star
you're right.
Citizen
You know what?
approach?
You're right. They
You can have
absolutely
a sandbox.
they don't need to write it well. They absolutely could base it all on Deep Space Nine. You're right.
They could. They could.
They could, and that's actually one of my. I'm just going to totally ignore what you thought was a jab. I'm just going to say, I mean, yes, Star Trek in general doesn't lend itself particularly well to a shooter, but I mean, there's a lot of Deep Space Nine that is combat, and